The day. Another day, another dollar, they say. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another dollar. Oh, did we go through those? Oh, pressed on. Wrong button. Wrong button. Okay, we're back. We're back here with things happening on the screen. So this morning had a really fun morning, and I did another live stream. But this is live stream number 2 of the day. Sometimes I do as many as 3, maybe even 4 live streams, depending on whether there's time. Sometimes there just isn't time, so we'll see what happens today. But anyway, before we start this quick video, as always, I always like to thank all the sponsors of the channel and stuff. We've got Shengmei, we've got Di Domisol or Do Domisol. Depending on the day, I'll call it something different. We've got Excellent, we've got Color Farm, and we've got Doll. We're going to thank also Horizon Hobby and Spectrum and everybody in between that helps bring something like Real Fight Evolution to a place or a kitchen near you in this case, or far away from you. We just don't know where you live. It could be anywhere. But it's in my kitchen here. The kitchen where I'm in right now. Not necessarily my kitchen. So anyway, with all that said, let's get on with what's going on today. So we're going to start off, as we did before, with the app with unattainable goals. Over here, there's the Marco Reviews channel. This is a new year, a new era. Anyway, a new year. So happy new year, if I haven't said that. We've got what used to be 1,590 plus subscribers has gone down because that's what the algorithm does. On what app? So the app here on the left is the YouTube channel. And the app here on... Sorry, this was the right. This was the right. This was the left. Get that right, man. Get that right. So, as I said before, 2 different ways to see what's going on. You can use the YouTube Studio app, or you can use the app itself. Look, there's 8.6K videos on here. So anyway, the app that keeps making people delusional, saying maybe someday. And then there's the app that is actually helping people out. So you see, we've already beaten about 16 years on this app over here, the YouTube app. This one, not that many years. 1,785. Good stats? I don't know. Oh, let's get right into the thick of things, as we say. I think today, one of the coolest things that I can do is usually I like to have some cool shirt on. Some cool shirts, whether it's the RC Sailors or Captain Drone or some other fun things, ID Tech Camps or something fun. I like to have a fun shirt or bring back that loving feeling from Top Gun. I usually have one of those fun shirts on, but look at what we have today. Look at what we have today here. This is none other than PlayStation. I got a really nice, cool shirt. It was a beautiful gift that I just received this weekend. And so I thought I'd put it on here for the show. Usually I can't put the shirts on because look at how many layers I have. I'm wearing 4 layers in the kitchen right now. And that's what's required to get these live streams up and running. Otherwise, I could experience frostbite. Anyway, so PlayStation, it's in the game. What am I looking for? Is it the love of my life? Is it the next latest and greatest bit of technology? Who knows? They don't explain what's in the game, but they do say PlayStation, it's in the game. So I thought I'd just say that. Because, as always, IB, and today I'm not doing a TikTok and YouTube thing simultaneously because I just can't be bothered to do that. And it's so much extra work, so I'm not doing that. But we will talk about this for just a couple of seconds. We're back here with the Valuetainment poster. And we went through some of the stuff yesterday with this, and the day before, and the day before. But we're not going to get into too much of this stuff today. In fact, I think we've covered most of the things that we had to say about this, except for maybe a couple of things. So I may discuss those right now. By the way, just in case you wanted to see this, it's also on the YouTube wall. So if you want to see it in color, it's on there. You can go check it out. You can go check it out. So anyway, you're looking at this poster and you're going like, ooh, there's a lot of interesting and good-looking people and girls and stuff. But how many do you guys think are real over there? Robotics have gotten so good. The robotics have gotten so good that you will notice that, for instance, this here is not a real person. It is an avatar. Well, these are real people, but you know, they don't usually look like that. They just look like that for when they're in the movies. They get extra fit for being and looking like that in the movies. Then, of course, there is the Terminator, and we know that the Terminator is not real, at least not this one. This is not a real human right here. This is not a real human. This right here is a very pretty lady, but it's not a real human. This is also not a real human. Not a real human. Look how realistic she looks. These are all robots. These are all robots. But what this all leads me to is an important thing, an important aspect of life. So before we start doing that, I'm going to start flying some planes because you guys came here to watch me crash stuff. And I've got to do that. I've got to do that. Because otherwise, I'm not a proper technologist or content creator. If I don't give the people what they want to see things crash and burn. So we're going to do that. Okay, let's start this off nice and easy and safe. Oh, it's a breeze to fly. It's a breeze to fly. Anyway, what I was talking about is there's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids out there. There's not a lot of good stuff to live for these days. So a lot of kids are struggling to find their life partner and stuff. And back in the day, when I was still in school and I had a lot of friends, I noticed that some people were doing something that was stopping them from achieving said goal. And that is to have a type, right? You have a type. Most people out there in the world have a type. There is a girl or a boy or a non-binary human type that's in their head. And that is the kind of person that they're looking for to date and to love from now until the end of time, right? There's that idea that you have a type and you try to match and find that type. And that is your aspiration, that those are your goals. So when it comes to certain things, right, certain things like values and stuff like that, it's probably better not to skimp out on those things. But when it comes to the overall physicality and what your life partner is going to look like, that is where a lot of people really shoot themselves in the foot when it comes to trying to find themselves the ideal partner. And what I mean by that is I had a lot of friends, and each of them had their special type, and they were like, no, we're not cutting corners, we're not giving up on any of the things that we want. But they would just basically box them up into a corner. They push themselves into a corner where what they were looking for was possibly not, even realistic. It goes back to that famous Hollywood Disney magic sometimes, where you have all these ideals of what beauty is supposed to look like and all that stuff, and then you get brainwashed, indoctrinated, if you will, into believing that that is what is going to be an attainable goal, right? There's just talked about this in social media. I'm talking about this a lot. What are attainable goals? Things that you could get for sure, and things that you plan to get that you may never get. I'm not saying you shouldn't have high expectations and reach for the stars. Who doesn't want to do that? But you also have to try to see what you can do with what you have and see if you can even get that much, right? Before you go into the next level, the next level things. Ooh, look at that. I never do that on purpose, but it happens once again. There's this one thing, oops, tippage again. This is probably one of the worst birds to taxi around on the ground because it loves to flip. It flies amazing. I love it, how it flies. But on the ground, it has a lot of tippage issues. So maybe let's find one like this one, which does not have... I don't think that it has tippage or less tippage issues on the ground. We can taxi it around. Here, let's go to that thing that I... Now again, don't remove it. This is not me hating on the thing. It provides some comedy. It provides some extra level of difficulty in the game, so I wouldn't remove it. It's cool. I can't really tell what it is. It could be like a benchy kind of thing, like a bench. Who knows? But anyway, I hit this thing all the time. All right, let's get this bird up in the air. And let's go back to talking to what I was talking about before. So here's the thing, right? Some people are like, oh, well, I want a wife and she has to be blonde, 100%. Or I'm only going to marry a lady if she's busty. Or I only want a lady like this, like that. My lady has to have red hair. My lady has to have this. My lady has to be this height or something. You might be like a shrimp. I remember this one guy. He was like, my lady has to be this tall, and he wasn't short anyway. And she has to be blonde and she has to be busty. And it was like, dude, you want to find yourself a lady, who is taller than you, pretty much, which is very high in demand because we all know that, especially in the Middle Eastern areas and stuff, we all know that the men are big on the blondies and stuff. They're willing to sacrifice how many, sell out or give away who knows how many camels for a blondie. Anyway, this guy was from Italy, so don't worry about it. Has nothing to do with the Middle East. But anyway, he had these aspirations of what he wanted, and very successful human being, very successful in many other aspects of his life. Very good with his words, very capable in learning things. So he ended up going and working at some top-end companies like Gucci and stuff. So he made it big. But still today, unfortunately, my good friend is not married. Definitely somebody that you would want to marry. I mean, if you looking back at this, right? Is he a high value man? Yes, and also he wouldn't treat women the way certain other people would. But he's still single. Go figure, right? And many others that I met during my growing up days, similar position as him, very highly successful, super intelligent, good individuals. Definitely would treat women better than some of those high value men that were on the show, and yet they're still single. Again, it's one of those things, right? What are your expectations? What are attainable goals for you? And is your type the reason why you can't find somebody to be with. And a lot of the times is the reason. Yeah, the thing is yes. And again, if you are trying to be like that picky about what you're doing, you're doing yourself a big disservice. First of all, modern technology, right? If you really want to have a blonde, there's things called wigs and dye, hair dye. You don't really have to do that. But anyway, I think that this is one of the aspects of dating and just generally life, which is often forgotten. It's often forgotten. And people are like, oh, well, I will never date a girl like this, or I will never do this, and so on and so forth. And oftentimes people end up being very, very sad with their lives and staying alone simply because of themselves sabotaging themselves, right? They're really like sabotaging themselves. And so I thought that's something that was worth talking about for a couple of minutes here in this video, because it's often overlooked and people really don't think about it that much. But it is one of the really big ones, one of the really big reasons why a lot of people's marriages fail. Because sometimes, people just can't get over that mindset. I'm not sure what it is. But as you guys saw in the stats here, men versus women, the whole thing that a woman is like, when she gets together with her friends, at least I'm not saying all women, but a lot of the women, based on the stats that were reported here, asked their friends, so what does he do, right? What does he do? Not, is he handsome? Is he, who knows how many other qualities does he have? It's usually, what does he do? And on the other hand, when the boys get together in their locker rooms or whatever, I wouldn't know. They hang out together, and especially the alphas get together in the locker rooms, and they discuss who they're dating. Is like, so what you look like, brah? What you look like? And so that can lead to a lot of issues in your lives if you are extremely like shallow and you base your entire relationship on stuff like that. It could really lead to a lot of unhappiness, mostly unhappiness. That's why I talk about it right here. So and this is one of the things that I always tell the smart people, because I'm usually the dumbest person in the room, every single room that I walk into. But being the way that I am, I do kind of like pick up on these little nuances. And I don't know if that is a symptom of being intelligent or not. Maybe it isn't, which is probably why I don't usually fit in a lot of places, because I will see these little things, and then if I point them out, oh boy, that's not a good thing. So usually I learned at a young age, not on YouTube, because YouTube is all about talking, right? It's all about expressing things and talking about YouTube. And again, as I said before, when I started making videos on YouTube back in the day, my face was never on YouTube. It was my work first. That was my idea when I did. Occasionally, you might have seen my hands in the videos, but never my face. I would not say a word. There may have been the occasional words happening on the screen, or if we were working on animations with groups of really awesome artists. And again, I always make sure to thank all the people that worked with me back in the day when we were creating like animations and 3D models and a bunch of other things together in collaboration works. It was mostly just the music and the artwork that was shown. But YouTube doesn't like that. So eventually, many years later, in fact, a whole 15 years later, when I started to reassess and decide to redo things differently, with this channel, I decided to put my face on it. A tragic mistake. But anyway, I'm doing it, and so here we are. So anywho, one of the biggest things, one of the important things to recognize is when you are super successful, when you are super intelligent, most of the time, the only person that is in the way of your success and happiness, so on and so forth, is you. So it could be that you have excessive expectations one way or another, whether it be of yourself or the people that you are around, which cause you to eventually be unhappy. That's why a lot of high value men out there get upset and end up alone or keep getting divorced over and over, is because they are just really, in some ways, extremely egotistical, and they don't understand the person that they are with. And so a lot of times they think they are doing the right thing and doing right by the other person, but they just don't understand the other person. And in some cases, they don't understand the other sex in that particular case. Like if you are a high value man and you get indoctrinated by Andrew Tate values, OMG, red flag all over the place. What a scammer. And a bunch of some of these other people who are just some serious scammers. And what are they doing to the youths of the modern world? And creating false expectations of this, that, and the other, and what you should do and how you should treat women and all that kind of garbage. These kids, basically these Andrew Tates of the world and so on and so forth, have picked up the slack, because this is the problem with society and things, right? For a couple of seconds, people might awaken and see beyond the veil for a couple of seconds, right? There was a moment of awakening in politics when people got awakened by what was going on, and they're like, "Oh, dang, we've been tricked for however long." There was a moment in time when people woke up and said, "Oh," and then I always keep saying that Hollywood Disney magic. What does that mean? That means that people woke up and realized what it was all about. And if you just watch it as entertainment, that's one thing. But if you get brainwashed by it, that's a different thing. So everybody likes to watch, including myself, likes to watch Disney movies and stuff and Hollywood stuff. But if you get brainwashed by certain things and ideologies and things that are being thrown at you, then you wake up one day and you're like, wait a second, that was just movie stuff. The real world is not really like that. So it's that thing. But then the other problem is human beings usually have a short moment of awakening, and then they go back into their slumber because, again, if they are not able to get out of the situation long enough to make changes to themselves, to say, okay, well, here we go. I've made a positive change to my life now. I was tricked by this horrible scam, and now by doing something slightly different, I'm okay now. And also, you also need to understand that once people have understood that the masses have awakened in one direction, and they've gotten used to or understand how to stay awake from that, there's always other ways and other things that can be done to bring them back into a slumber once again and re-indoctrinate them in a separate or different way. And that is why when they talk about the concepts of Wing Chun, right, is the ability to constantly adapt to situations that allows those real masters of Kung Fu to be able to continuously adapt and stay on top of their fight or whatever their. So the reason why back in the day there were, like some legendary men who were undefeated on the battlefield is because they were able to adapt to fighting a short guy compared to fighting a tall guy, whatever. No matter what you were throwing at them, they would continuously adapt to their opponents and they would still be able to stay on top. And the same thing can be said, if you will, with the way life tries to trick you over and over again. Just because you figured out one trick doesn't mean you're not going to get tricked again in a different way. So there you go. I thought I'd just point this stuff out. Maybe you are one of the youths that is looking for love and to try to find that perfect partner of yours. And you may never find it if you have a type and you are not willing to explore anything else other than your type. Just saying. I mean, I lived in so many different countries. I was in Italy and Switzerland. I was in the UK, in the US, and I traveled in a bunch of different places. But one of the things that didn't keep me down was having a type. And in the beginning, yes, I did have a type as well when I was young, and was in Italy for a little while. I did have a type, and I was fascinated by certain types of women. But I soon discovered that those kinds of women were never going to be somebody that I was going to be able to date even. And so I stopped because, again, the nature of insanity, I keep stressing this over and over again. The nature of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over and expect different results. Sometimes you got to get out there and try something different. So if what is stopping you, just ask yourself, is what is stopping you from finding love is that you have a type and you're only willing to date that one kind of girl? Think about that. And then come back to this video many years later and drop a comment. Anywho, so with that said, guys, I am done today. We've only been flying in safe. We've kept it safe today with the one, the only Habu. And I really like this plane a lot. Maybe someday Horizon, Hobby Zone, Spectrum might send me a ready-to-fly kit. Maybe. Who knows? There's some really cool things out there right now. They have so many different planes available to fly, and they are all so very cool. Ooh, that was a bounce and land. See if we can come back and try this. I've jumped out of safe and am now at AS3X. Going real high. Woo! Invert out of that. That was a cool MAV move right there. It's not really a beauty pass because I couldn't get close enough to the camera, although it looked pretty good by my skill level. Yeah, not too bad. Half decent landing. Can we still keep it up? There we go. Back for a bounce and land. Bounce and land. This is so cool. It's like Tigger on steroids. It's like Tigger on steroids, but it's a plane. Okay. There we go. So with that said, guys, I'm going to put this back in safe, and we're going to bring it back here. Beautiful girls all over the world. I could be chasing, but my time would be wasted. They got nothing on you, baby. Nothing on you, baby. All right, so with that said, guys, I'm going to thank the usual suspects, and we shall be done. So again, thank you, Captain Drone, for your beautiful family as well, helping us out to get these cool stickers. We've got Spectrum that sent us an awesome new battery when the one that came with the Aero Scout was defective. And we've got Horizon Hobby, which again always helps us out here, providing us with Real Flight Evolution for you guys to enjoy with me on these little adventures. And with that said, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. and PlayStation. It's in the game. Please put it in the comments if you know what's in the game. And with that, sayonara.